I just love fireworks. Oh, get away. This is my moment. What are you waiting for? Get inside and finish the job. Now that we're inside Piñata Central, we can use simple hacking techniques to steal the piñata files. Soon, I will know the location and weaknesses of every piñata on the island. Then I can capture every one of those papery critters until I am the Piñata King of the world! Hurry up, you incompetent code monkey! I have piñata to capture!
Delete all files. Press any key to confirm.
Yeah, what just happened? You did what? No! Piñata Central is out of action until the records are restored. And in the meantime, I'll make sure those papery pinheads never reach the Caranata. Victory is mine!
Hi, I'm Leafos, and I'm going to help you get started. Look for this. It can show up anywhere, but it always tries to tell you where to go and what to do next. This pretty little piñata has smelled the flowers in your garden and has come closer to investigate.
Hello everyone, I'm Little. In today's video I will be starting my series of the first video game I ever played on console. This is the second game of this series. The first game came out in 2006, and then this game came out in 2008. To start, this game gives a little bit of a tutorial mode. Leafos and Langston give you a rundown on the basic how-tos of the game. Like your first piñata. The Bispotti is the first piñata you'll have to tame. This series is more of a semi-relaxed playthrough that you can all join me on. I do apologize in advance though, I have gone quite fast through the first few episodes. And I apologize for my voice. I am sick at the moment, but I wanted to get these videos out. Now here you see the worm. The worm is actually one of my favorite piñatas in the entire series, and we'll come to see why later on.
Well done! You attracted a worm! The worm has turned up because you have uncovered some good soil.
Also, I will be including the appearance, visit, resident, and romance requirements for each piñata in the left top corner of the screen. Just for you, in case you want to follow along in a garden of your very own. First up at bat, haha, get it? All jokes aside, first piñata will be a Bispotti. I've named mine Spotty and Bispo. Not sure why, but that's alright.
You have a new Bispotti visitor. It's come into the garden because you have some lovely poppies. If you put the cursor on the Bispotti and press Y, you can find out what it needs to stay in your garden. need to fill the candiosity meter of one of your piñatas. Feeding helps, but the cheapest way is to name them. Put the cursor on a piñata and watch for the player guide.
A bispotti is a ladybird or ladybug, depending on which side of the pond you're on. And even with their fire station themed house, they are my personal least favorite piñata. The item that they attack with is a fire extinguisher. Fun fact, Bispottis dislike eating honey, but not to worry. Flowers like buttercups, bluebells, daisies, and poppies are all their favorites for this little sprite of a piñata.
Congratulations! You've completed the first challenge by successfully attracting a Bispotti into your garden, filling it up with candy, and sending it off to a party. That wasn't too hard, was it? Now, let's try...
So once you send off your Bispotti, you're now going to head to the desert desert. Langston wants us to capture and tame a Sweetle. Let's head to the desert desert. Sweetles are also level 2 piñatas, but first you'll come across my personal favorite piñata. Unfortunately, Gekkies will have to wait for a later episode, as much of a disappointment as it is to me as well.
Here is a piñata that likes the feel of sand between its toes. You can only find the Gekki in the desert region.
Anyways, back to the task of catching a Sweetle.
This piñata can only be found out in the harsh desert environment.
A Sweetle is a beetle if you haven't noticed yet. Next up is Langston. Langston will tell us that we also need to put a trap down. But on top of that, you also need to put bait on the trap. Because just putting a trap down isn't enough to trap a piñata. Once the trap has been baited, now we watch and wait. Scare off unwanted piñatas like the syrup prince. And now we wait for the Sweetle to eat the yam. Waiting, staring at a Gekki. I don't have an issue with Gekkis. While waiting for the piñata to eat the bait in the trap, feel free to check the other piñatas in the area to see which bait requirements they have and what you could do to have them for a resident later on.
Different species like different things, so choose wisely.
Staring, waiting, staring, waiting. Yeah, you can really tell how much I actually do really like the Gekki. I do spend a lot of the time here staring at it while waiting for the Sweetle. Hopefully we can get them in the future episode. And just like that, the Sweetle is now ours. Let's post that back to our garden and get started.
Return to the main garden and visit the post office to unpack your trap.
Now back in the garden, the post office will open up. This is Franny Franker. She wished of being a fashion designer, which is why her clothes look different from all the others.
Yoo-hoo! Piñata Island's magnificent postal services are at your disposal for all your needs. You know, passing stuff on, getting some goodies off other Xbox Live gardeners.
Now, go to the notifications at the bottom of your screen and press Y. This should deliver your crate, and you can release your piñata into your garden to tame it.
You have a new Sweetle visitor. Congratulations on catching this little piñata. Now put the cursor on it and press the Y button to find out what you need to do to make it stay.
I see you've caught a sand critter. Might be just the right time to give you this sand packet. It works just like the grass packets, and you can find it in the same place on the menu, so it should be no problem for you to use.
Now, I'm not going to interrupt characters all that often, or at least try not to. But in this, he's giving us our sand packet, so we can then put sand down for our Sweetle, and that should be enough to tame it. In the top left corner, you'll see a little picture of a Sweetle. This is what I mean when I put the instructions for each piñata up in the corner. And I will try to keep doing this throughout the series, but I apologize. I go really fast, and I finish piñatas awful fast than anybody else I have ever seen.
You've leveled up. You filled the petals around the clock, which means you've taken a step closer to becoming a truly great gardener. All kinds of things happen when you become a better gardener. Cost-a-Lot store has opened. You can buy some paving, some fences, a couple of items to decorate your garden with, and some seeds. Seedos will have some new seeds in his pouch too.
Hey everyone! You should all know my store's open again. I expect to see you in here very soon. Just bring lots of cash. Nobody likes the taste of chocolate coins more than Lottie, I can
So
tell
this
you.
is Lottie. Lottie, I am not a big fan of, and I avoid the shop at any convenience. I avoid going to her. I'm not sure why. I just have never liked her in the course of the years I've been playing this game. So here we are feeding poppies to our Sweetle. The Sweetle eats the poppies, and it brings up his candiosity so we can send him to a party.
Well done! Your Sweetle has reached full candiosity because you fed it food it likes. Now it's ready to be sent off to its party.
As Langston said, now he can go off to his party, and here we go. We send him off, and he gets fired out the cannonada. So as you saw in the intro, the entire point of the game is to refill Piñata Central's piñata files. By sending piñatas to parties, you're refilling their file, and you'll restore all files by
Excellent.
completing the
You've
game.
completed the second challenge by trapping a wild piñata, making it a resident, and filling it up with candy to enjoy its papery party. You really seem to be getting the hang of this now. There's one more challenge, and then you can manage without my help.
To be fair, Langston, I think I could have done it without your help anyway. So your next mission will be to get a baby Bispotti, which Langston thinks you need his help for. Trust me, you don't.
Lottie has some new items in her store, including some garden lighting. Seedos has enough.
As night falls on your garden for the very first time, you'll get some newcomers for like this. This is the Pretz Tail. The Pretz Tail is a fox-based piñata. There's also an Arctic variant from Piñarctic.
A Pretz Tail has appeared. They like to investigate a garden in the dark.
As well as the Pretz Tail, there is also a moth drop. A moth drop is, as it says in the name, a moth. They are attracted to light and pretty easy to get.
Well done! You attracted a moth drop. When the sun goes down, the moth drop will look for a suitable garden.
Next person in the game that we're going to meet is Seedos. Seedos is actually Lefos' brother. And honestly, you have to see the first game to get why his character is just kind of so sad.
Let me introduce Seedos. He's obsessed with gathering seeds. You should try talking to him.
Alright, as soon as I am able to, I always sell these paths. You can buy them later if you'd like. I just don't really enjoy their look. and I never really put any of these things down because they just waste your garden space. And in this game, garden space is pretty important, but they do give you a good chunk of chocolate coins if you do decide to sell them. Alright, the next step is to romance the Bispottis, which is what Langston wants us to do. Breeding the Bispottis, you need daisies, so pull out your seed pack by hitting the D-pad to the left. And then hit it to the left once again. Hitting the D-pad to the left should pull up your watering can, and then hitting it again should pull up your seed pack, and then once again does the fertilizer. Fertilizer is something you can also do to your plants in game. It'll give them extra limbs or extra flowers, and we'll get into that more later on in the series. So here we're just planting some daisies and buttercups. One, I wanted buttercups so I can change the color of the syrup pint that I already have. Two, we need the daisies for the Bispottis. Now here comes an interesting piñata. It's called a sparrow mint. A sparrow mint, don't know why, always makes me think of Captain Jack Sparrow. Sparrow mints also eat your worms, and as hard as I try to keep my first two worms, I always end up to lose them in the end.
From miles away, and will come to take a look.
Next little piñata to appear will be the raisin. As long as you plant some buttercups, the raisin will come and check out your garden. But you will need honey to tame them later on. Unfortunately, I don't believe you get honey until a much later level.
Here comes a raisin. The sweet smell of those buttercups has surely drawn
Then
it to
comes
the
the
garden.
tatfly. The tatfly, honestly, reminds me of the Cocomelon theme song, which I believe this game came first. If you haven't heard the Cocomelon theme song, please go check it out first and tell me what you think.
Here is a taffly. It likes fruit. Any kind will do.
With a little sand and sunshine, you'll find the crustacean coming to visit your garden. The crustacean will be useful later on for more useful piñatas.
With a little sand and a little sunshine, the beach party animals appear. This little crustacean is interested in your garden.
Another feature that I liked from this game is that you actually have to keep an eye on and water your plants. Of course, in later levels, you do get a watering can that you don't have to worry about your plants once you water them once. As you watch me casually overwater my plants, you'll notice that we've gotten some new piñatas. These new piñatas include another Bispotti and a worm. As you can see, we have one worm, and you also see in the background we have another worm that is coming in to check out our garden. As the Bispottis run across the screen. One I already named Spotty. The other one I don't know why, but I named Bispo. I'm not sure what that means, but that's his name. As you can see, there's a spearmint on the edge, as well as a taffly. Here I am whacking the spearmint because I don't want them to eat my worms right now. And as you can see, Cedos is visiting for the first time. And the tutorial is telling us to select a Bispotti because our daisies have grown. You're going to want to tap the daisies because having the Bispottis destroy them themselves is not very productive, to be honest. And here comes a flutterscotch. A flutterscotch is a piñata that you'll need for many piñatas later on. You can change their color for up to 9 different variants, I believe.
Congratulations! You have attracted
Correct
a
me
bite
if
of
I'm wrong.
flutterscotch. Sometimes they are attracted by the noises of other animals, and sometimes the scent of flowers brings them.
But flutterscotches will be useful from a lot of piñatas like the Geki, the liquid toad, I believe. This is a partridge. A partridge is, for lack of a better word, a very snobby pinata.
Some prefer the scented rose, but a partridge loves the pure white petals of a daisy. Or 5.
But we're not going to worry for the partridge right now. We're just going to focus on our Bispottis. Here we are feeding one of them a daisy. Pick up the daisy and bring it to them. It'll be much faster that way. Otherwise, they'll fly across the garden and you'll have to wait for them to find the daisy themselves. Which, trust me, you want to do it the fast way. Here you can see me tap a buttercup flower, then give the flower head to a syrupin. This is called a variant, and it changes depending on each piñata. A piñata, once eaten a certain item, will turn to a different color.
Willie Builder here to tell you my shop is now open. Return to the game, press A, and then press X to open the menu. Select the village option. You can open my store by selecting the icon that looks like my head.
So heading to the village, you'll find Willie Builder, and he's going to help us build the Bispotti house.
Willie here, Master Builder. If you have piñatas that need somewhere to call home, I can make it. In fact, I can build just about any building if you've got the cash. I'll get started when you put down the work shed and cough up the chocolate coins.
The Bispotti house will be free since it is our first piñata, and just trying to finish Langston's challenge. In the top left hand, you'll see the requirements from appearance to romance. As I said, I'll try to put these in all the way through the series, but if I don't, I apologize now. And unfortunately, here you see a spearmint eating my first worm. I really don't like experiments some days, especially when I'm trying to keep my first two. So now we're waiting for Willie Builder to come build the house. Unfortunately, there's not much you can do in this time, other than sit here and watch.
Level 4 already? You really seem to have taken a shine to this gardening lark. Check Lottie's store for some more items to decorate your garden. If you see C-Dot, you should talk to him. He has at least 2 more seeds for you to try. In 7 levels' time, the garden will get bigger. Here comes trouble. A sour shelly bean has found your garden. They only want one thing, a seed feast.
Now, as you go on, you'll get sour piñatas. Sour piñatas are bad piñatas that, just like residents, you have to tame, but their taming qualities are a little different. Here you'll see we got a spearmint and a flutterscotch. Unfortunately, I kind of just ignore the flutterscotch and more focus on the spearmint later on in the 4th episode. While we have the time waiting for the house, I'd like to remind everybody, please leave a like and a comment and subscribe. Hit the bell notification and you'll get notifications every time I post a new episode. Any support to my channel, such as liking and commenting, is highly appreciated. I know right now I'm not the best, and I truly wish to get better, and all your support will just be more encouraging. Knocking down the shed and revealing the Bispotti house, we finally can romance them as intended. Here I am clearing out the menu so that we don't have these annoying cloud things anymore. Alright, once I'm done clearing all my menu, and I'll leave the book for later, let's get to the Bispottis. The Bispottis are ready to romance, and we'll be moving on shortly after them. You'll also notice that I planted some turnips. Turnips will help us get another piñata later on. For now, we're just going to focus on the Bispottis, but unfortunately, this is nearing the end of the episode. I hope you come and join me for part 2, and I hope to see you again. Thank you for watching. Little out.